Hello, welcome to the Chit Chat Knits Knitting Podcast. My name is Darcy and I'm the maker at Chit Chat Knits. If you're new here today, welcome. If you're one of our Chit Chat Knits family, returning viewers, you notice that things look a little different today. And that is because Mr. Chit Chat Knits and I are on the road for a month and a half. So instead of snowy, cold, icy western Wisconsin, we are currently in Florida, where the weather has been beautiful. It's been in the 80s. It's a little cooler today, but now the sun has just come out. We had a little rain shower this morning, but now the sun has come out and we have just had phenomenal weather so far. So this is a camper cast. You've seen it. If you've been with me since the beginning, you've seen that I've done a few camper casts. And so today we're just making our little video here from the camper. Now you also will notice that someone is missing today. That's because Katie is still back in Minnesota, Wisconsin. We live right on the border, so she's still at home. But she has recorded a little clip for you today, and so I'll be inserting that. So we're going to hear from Katie today as well. With that, let's get to the knitting. All right, we had 3 days of driving down here, and I am so fortunate that my husband is willing to do the driving. We pull our camper trailer, and our van has our bikes in it because we're down here mountain biking, and he is so wonderful about doing the driving. We were on the road for 3 days, and that's a lot of knitting. I am so fortunate to be one of those people who can knit, read anything in the car. I never get car sick, so I'm really fortunate to be able to do that, and fortunate that he's willing to drive. I made a shawl on the way down here. Here it is. I'll also insert a picture. So here is my shawl that I made traveling to Florida. I finished it the day after we got here. So it was about 4 days of knitting. It was pretty quick, but those were long days of driving. Again, I'll put a picture in so you can see what it looks like on. It is a crescent shaped shawl, and my motivation for making this project was the Q4 challenge for the pigskin party. And also I wanted to use stashed yarns for our Dash the Stash make along that is being held in our Ravelry group. So if you are stashing down this year, we would love to have you join us. We have some projects currently completed in there, and it's just fun to encourage each other and see what we can make with what we already have. What I did here, I wanted to use 4 different yarns. One of them was from Yarnaceous Fibers because they are the sponsor of the Q4 challenge. So this mint green in here is a DK weight yarn by Yarnaceous Fibers. I bought, this was back in November, so it still counts as stash down, a set of 2 coordinating 50-gram skeins, and this is one of them. Now the orange or coral peachy color you see is one that's been in my drawer, my stash drawer, for several years, probably 4 to 5 years, and this is by Toad Hollow Yarns. I had a full 100-gram skein of that. I had a 50-gram of this. This gray that I made the final ruffle on, I decided to do a ruffle on the bottom. That is by Kelborn Woolen Mills. Let me check for sure. Yes, it's in Dora in the color gray. And this was something I won at my local yarn shop at an event there. And then the purple is just some that I had stashed. I had around 100, well, I had 150 grams of it. I had 3 50-gram balls. And that is, it is Drops Cotton Merino. I like the way the colors turned out. I think it's kind of fun. And I had so much fun I sort of had an idea. I wanted a crescent-shaped shawl that stays on my shoulders. I just started knitting, went away, added some eyelets because I always love eyelets, went some more, just kept going, alternating the stripes. And then I got down and I was trying to kind of use up all of the purple that I had. I did end up using almost, but a little nub of the purple and a little nub of the gray and most of the green. So I did accomplish using most of it. I think I used 616 total yards. So that was a good amount out. But then you're traveling along. It's about the third day if you've been on the road, and my mind starts to wander. And I thought it might be fun to see what would happen if I did an increase in the middle like you would do in a triangle shaped shawl. So I have a crescent shaped shawl, and then I added that increase, which I think makes the stripes look really neat. So thoughts for designs later. I may do something with the stripe farther up. I don't know. But I like the way it turned out. It's a pretty shawl. I love that it's long and it drapes around really nicely. It's going to be one that's going to stay draped around if I was wearing it this way. I also find that in the early morning, I like to just have a little shawl around my shoulders. If I'm sitting in the evening or in the morning, that's what I like. It's just a little shawl that goes around my shoulders. Just keeps my shoulders warm. Just a little bit of extra warmth. So I'm calling it the quartet shawl because I used to sing in a lot of quartets. So we have the soprano, which would be the purple, because the soprano usually has the melody and they like the high part, making the melody. The orange, I think I thought of, the garter would be the soprano, the eyelets would be the alto, because I'm an alto, they add some nice interest to the music. The stripes would be the tenor, and the gray ruffle would be the baritone. So quartet shawl. We'll see if it becomes a pattern. I like it. It turned out really nicely. Okay, so that is my finished object. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go to Katie back in Minnesota.
Hello, everybody. Katie with Chitchatknits checking in with you. Happy New Year, and I hope it is off to a great start. First things first, welcome to my home. I live in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, and it is chilly. It's very chilly outside. It is 21 degrees and currently snowing. And I know I shouldn't complain because usually around this time of year where I live, the temperatures sometimes can get sub-zero, actually quite frequently. So I really shouldn't complain. But I might have checked the temperature where Darcy is currently today, and I saw it was 81 degrees. And I'm very much looking forward to my time down there because this girl is just not built for the cold. So I'm very excited for our adventures ahead and the projects I'm going to be casting on. So I am very excited to be working on the Main Street headband for my friend Kayla. And this pattern is by Kelly McNeely and sponsored by Liftbridge Yarns. So I will more than likely be casting these on more than likely when I'm at the airport and flying on a plane. So I don't know what it is. I just love knitting on a plane. Perhaps it's because I feel very productive because I'm not and cannot really do anything else. I'm not trying to clean the house or go for a run. So I am going to more than likely be casting this on when I'm sitting at the airport. And the yarn that I'm going to be using, I've shown on the cast before, and it is by Kelburn Woolens. And this is Juniper Heather is the colorway. And Kayla loves dark green. And boy, did this color deliver. I cannot wait to see how it works up in the pattern. So I'm very excited about that. Now, the second project that I'm planning on casting on either during or slightly after this is the Riptide Scarfette. And boy, am I excited to do that one. It is so pretty. It is by JST Knitwear Designs. And I picked up some Malabrigo Rios in the colorway Palomo. And it is a beautiful color. I am very excited to see how this works up too. So I have projects and I am ready to cast them on and just get some knitting done. As far as my finished objects, I am very, very excited because I finished my Slipperoo socks. I have my first pair of socks done. Oh, wow, this was a journey. This was definitely a journey, and I loved almost every second of it. It was definitely a learning opportunity. It is so different than the types of knitting and patterns that I've done before. And I was very lucky. The first sock, I had Darcy with me pretty much 90% of the time I was knitting on the first sock. And she walked me through, she kept me calm and just helped me with the construction and the pattern. I finished the first sock on Halloween. I do remember that very well. I finished the first sock on Halloween. Then I cast on my second sock and I knit the majority of it on my own. I wanted to see how far I could get without having any help. And I made it pretty darn far. There was a couple of times where I did ask for a little bit of help. Surprisingly, I had the correct stitch count. I was really, really proud of myself there. The thing that I was a little disappointed in when I was finishing was my Kitchener stitch, because I hadn't done it since Halloween. And even then I had Darcy sitting right next to me, kind of walking me through and supporting me through that. So yeah, it was the second sock, and that Kitchener stitch, I wasn't very familiar. And I was also finishing the sock in my brother's shop. We were having a movie night. He has a shop kitten that also was after my yarn, and it was dark. It was a little bit on the later side. So was it probably the wisest decision to finish up your sock? Probably not, Katie. But you know what? I did it. I went to bed. I was very proud of myself. Woke up, looked at how that Kitchener stitch looked. I could tell I got it at the very end, which is good. But the first part of it was a hot mess. So I had reached out to Darcy saying, hey, I am done, but I was hoping you could help me rip out my Kitchener stitch so I can try it again, because I'm just not happy with it. And she said, absolutely. And when I showed it to her, she was very proud, but she's like, that last half is good, but the first, yeah, we can do a little better. We can learn from that. So thank you, Darcy, for helping me take that back. And I am so happy with how they turned out. I have worn them, but I thought showing you guys, it might be easier just to have them on the sock blockers. And thank you, Darcy, for letting me borrow these, because I did not have a pair of them yet. I loved knitting socks, and that it did surprise me. I think I was nervous. A lot goes into a pair of socks, and I wasn't sure how I was going to handle them, but I would definitely knit these again. I mentioned before, it's always been kind of a goal and a dream of mine to knit Darcy's patterns, and I would definitely knit this again. This was so much fun, and I learned a lot. I will be casting on more socks probably later. I think I'm going to focus on my other two projects, but then I will get back to sock knitting, because again, surprisingly, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I thought I'd be really nervous, and I know things can go wrong, but you know what? I learned so much with each pattern and each stitch. So I'm very, very happy, and I'm very excited to cast on another pair. I just need to go yarn shopping, and I have some ideas, but very, very excited to be done with these, wearing them. And like I said, it's 21 degrees here right now and snowy. So I'm very glad I have something nice and warm to wear on my feet, especially with my hardwood floors. So I really appreciate you all for supporting Darcy and I in our journeys together. Thank you for helping me learn. I will be checking in with you guys very soon. Darcy and I will be doing a cast together when I am down in Florida. And I will see you all then. Until then, bye for now and happy knitting.
Okay, I'm back. Now I'd like to show you my works in progress. So this is a finish. I'm going to take this off. It's gotten getting a little warm in the camper. And here's what I have been working on next. This is the Northeasterly blanket, and it is by, I'm looking at my notes here, Skeinanigans. Melissa Alexander Loomis is the pattern, and I will put that down below. I am loving this. Okay, I have a big, long strip here. Look at this. Isn't this fun? Big, long strip. Now, what I've just started down here is the next column. And I love this because you add it on, you connect it as you go. So you don't have to go back and sew anything up. You leave a little tail here, she says, and then you just take a couple stitches to make those ends come together, which I haven't done yet. But it's really fun. I was just messing this morning with starting my next column and how to join that together. But it's going very well. And what I'm doing on this, I have a lot of very light colored fingering weight yarns. I seem to have so many of those in my drawer that I thought, let's do something with it. So I'm holding those with some small leftover balls. Now that's lighter than a lot of my small leftovers are darker, and so my light colors are giving them the pastel that you see. But I really it's kind of fun. I'm doing 15 garter repeats, and then I just switch to the next one and pick 2 more, do 15, 2 more, and just going at that. I've been sitting out here in the at the campsite, just making my little arrows. And usually after I finish a few, I weave in my ends. However, last night I didn't do that, or this morning, because I wanted to get to the next column. But as you go weaving in, so there's nothing to come back and weave in later. And I really don't mind weaving in ends as long as I keep up on it and don't end up with, a whole blanket full to weave in. But so I will get the rest of those woven in later today and continue with column 2. It's a fun project. I'm really liking it. And I know this is going to be a long-term project, and I'm really okay with that. It's fine. If it takes me all year or 2 years or whatever, I am keeping track. I wanted to tell you about something that that I'm loving. Katie and I showed you this. We discovered Summer Day Crochet. in her products this fall. And she actually has given us a coupon code, chitchatknits. But I have started using my year in yarn, and I am loving this. It's so fun to just keep track of things in there. I kind of try to sit down every day and just update what I've done. Katie also gave me these darling stickers, so sometimes I pull out a sticker and add, sometimes I color them in, but I'm already finding it useful because all my information is there. And I know it's many of you keep track of all these things on Ravelry, and that's great, or some digital form, which is so good also. But for some reason, I'm just really enjoying this lovely, lovely little journal. So if you have been looking for some way to track your progress this year, you might check out Summer Day Crochet. She has some beautiful, beautiful products. Okay, I need a drink from my Happy Camper mug. One more project that I'm working on that is being housed in this adorable bag. This bag is by Susan of Delightful Works, and I did check her Etsy shop. She can be found on Etsy. I think it's Delightful Works 3113. Again, we'll link. And she still has this bag. It's so cute. I just love it. So if you're looking for a gift for someone, for Valentine's, or something just fun, a little treat for yourself, check out Susan's bags. They're wonderful. I started another Slipperoo sock. Here it is. I thought these two yarns together looked very Floridian. All right, again, it's stash in the stash. This is yarn. These are the two that I'm holding together. Fingering Weight. This one is by Silly Goose Yarns, and Courtney doesn't dye yarn anymore. Look at how pretty it is. It's pink with a little green in it. And this one, the ball band is at home, back in Wisconsin. So I am so sorry, I cannot tell you what it is. It's orange with the little pops of a purpley pink in there. And I thought when those two were held together, it looked so pretty. I can't get enough of these Slipperoo socks. I just love wearing them. The pattern has several leg lengths. I kind of like that rolled top. I decided to make this one a little bit higher up. Some of them are just a real low ankle sock. Aren't they cute? I worked on these the other day when we took a little drive over to New Smyrna Beach, over to the Atlantic side, just to go for a drive and walk on the beach, which was really nice. We're about 2 hours from there, so it was a long drive, but we had a lovely lunch and a little walk on the beach. And I started that sock, and I'm working down the foot and the toe and having fun with that. So probably try to finish those up in this week. Okay, another project I'm working on, and I showed this last time, I really haven't made much progress, is my cherry and peach sweater. And now I can't remember who the pattern is by. Hunglish. That's her name. It has some pretty eyelet detail, and it's just a little cardigan. Before I left home, I had to go to a little store we have. It's kind of an Ace Hardware, a little bit of farm store, a little fabric and quilting, and they do still have some buttons, so I got some red buttons. I'm hoping to work on this because I think it'll be a really cute sweater to wear for Valentine's. Look at that red. That will need to get some work on this week too. I'm getting close to where I'll be splitting the sleeves off. So then it'll just be the body and then the sleeves. I think it's really pretty. Are you knitting a sweater right now? What are you knitting? Are you crocheting? Are you knitting? Do you have one project? Are you a one project at a time? Or are you a multiple project at a time like I am? I need lots of things going on. And my justification for that is that different size needles, different movements are less stressful on my hands. I have to admit, in knitting this in three plus days, just a little bit on the fourth day, I was doing all garter stitch, so I was only knitting, and then I was also knitting on this, which is garter stitch, and my hand was getting sore. And I can knit for 4 days and it doesn't, I mean, I knit every day, but I think it was because I was using that same motion, and I wasn't, when I'm purling, you know, my hand is in a different position. So see, there's justification. Start another project. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let us know what you're working on. And Katie is coming to visit in about a week, and we plan to do some recordings, so the next time it'll be the both of us. Thanks for stopping by. See you soon. Happy knitting.